In the ever-evolving landscape of business and commerce, the story of Fuddruckers stands as a compelling tale of rise, fall, and transformation. Once a shining star in casual dining, Fuddruckers captured the hearts and appetites of burger enthusiasts far and wide. Its legendary build-your-own burger concept and welcoming family-friendly atmosphere made it a cherished dining destination. Yet, the winds of change have swept over Fuddruckers in recent years, leaving diners and industry insiders pondering the chain's fate. What led to the decline of this iconic burger haven, and what can we learn from its journey? In this exploration, we'll dive into the factors that propelled Fuddruckers to stardom, its challenges in the shifting culinary landscape, and the efforts made to adapt and survive. Before we explore the fascinating Fuddruckers saga, smash the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. By doing so, you'll stay in the loop and never miss out on our latest insights and stories. As of the last knowledge update in 2019, Fuddruckers boasted 49 company-operated restaurants alongside an impressive network of 107 franchises, serving customers across the United States and spanning the globe. Traveling back to 1880 to meet Phil Romano, the founder of Fuddruckers, would be quite a leap. However, to provide an accurate account, we must clarify that Phil Romano was not born until 1941, and Fuddruckers wasn't founded until the late 1970s. Phil Romano did indeed have a deep passion for culinary arts. After earning his degree from Florida Atlantic University in the 1960s, he embarked on a journey to become deeply involved in various restaurant operations. By the 1970s, he had assumed leadership responsibilities, driven by his eagerness to immerse himself in the restaurant industry. Fuddruckers was founded on the idea that customers were willing to invest more in exchange for a superior burger experience, a step above the usual offerings at fast food joints, but without the formality of upscale dining establishments. The visionary founder of Fuddruckers believed passionately that the world needed a truly exceptional burger. Even today, if you're familiar with Fuddruckers, you'll notice their continued dedication to crafting and serving delectable hamburgers that bring joy to their customers' palates. Fuddruckers has maintained its reputation for serving the world's finest hamburgers since the 1980s, an awe-inspiring feat. The visionary founder of Fuddruckers, Phil Romano, demonstrated his boldness by taking a leap of faith, purchasing an abandoned bank in San Antonio, Texas, and transforming it into a restaurant solely focused on delivering these exceptional hamburgers. At the very least, Fuddruckers set a higher standard than most nearby fast food establishments. Since then, their commitment to offering the ultimate hamburger experience has been unwavering and remains a hallmark of their brand. Around 18 months later, Romano took a significant step forward by inaugurating the second Fuddruckers location in Houston, Texas. Notably, within roughly the same time frame, they experienced their first change in ownership back in 1983. During this period, the company underwent a transformative phase with a public stock offering, successfully raising the required capital to expand its restaurant chain rapidly. Romano decided to resign as CEO of Fuddruckers in 1985. As the decade ended, he took things further, sold off a sizable chunk of his ownership stake, and quit the organization's board of directors. He made this decision because he wanted to embark on new restaurant ventures and explore new frontiers. Romano's Macaroni Grill, which now has multiple locations all across the United States, was one of the most notable businesses to come out of this endeavor. Despite these modifications, Fuddruckers maintained its success and expanded its recognition as a well-known brand. Their newly discovered resources helped them grow successfully, enabling them to open eateries in numerous cities. However, introducing a franchising system had a significant role in their expansion. Through this approach, interested parties paid Fuddruckers for running their restaurants and serving their delectable menu items under the Fuddruckers brand. The growth of Fuddruckers to over 100 locations within the next 4 years was undoubtedly impressive, albeit relatively rapid. They made staff reductions and sold franchisees some company-owned properties, which helped to loosen up conditions sufficiently to buck the current pattern. When the company combined with Dhaka International in 1988, another change in ownership occurred. Following the acquisition, the business concentrated on food service agreements and grew to become one of the biggest cafeteria operators in the nation. The cafeterias were mainly found at academic institutions and medical facilities. The toppings bar at Fuddruckers has continuously been one of its key draws. Customers are given a plain burger as part of their cafeteria-style business model, which they may customize with their choice toppings. Customers can customize their burgers using this interactive technique, which saves money because servers are not required. For almost 10 years, Dhaka was the owner of Fuddruckers, and during that time, the company significantly increased the brand's appeal. At that time, the total number of Fuddruckers restaurants nearly doubled, approaching 200. Around the same time, Fuddruckers encountered several difficulties. In the middle of the 1990s, about a dozen Home Depot locations offered a scaled-down version of Fuddruckers called Fuddruckers Express. However, this business idea didn't survive long and was a failure. First, their rapid expansion resulted in bad real estate judgments because they opened up additional locations too soon. Additionally, they suffered consumer misunderstandings on their fundamental tenet of the offering the best burger in the entire globe. Customers initially saw the restaurant's dedication to freshness in the daily chopping and growing of meat, the everyday baking of homemade buns, and the use of obviously organic produce. But as the mid-1990s drew near, less attention was paid to these factors. The once proudly stated title of World's Best Burger now appears more like an unsupported saying, in part because of modifications in the restaurant structure. The investors also raised concern about Dhaka, the company in question, spreading its focus too thin, which only worsened matters. This was primarily due to Dhaka's ownership of the cafe, where the previously mentioned changes took place, and its stakes in the other businesses. The cafeteria industry and two more restaurant chains, Champs and Great Bagel and Coffee, were among them. The following property change was a quick but crucial technical one. To create a new company called Unique Casual Restaurants, Dhaka International undertook a separation in 1997, during which it liquidated its cafeteria business and divided its restaurants. But by the following year, another management change had taken place. Fuddruckers was purchased by King Cannon in 1998. Michael Cannon, a well-known name in the restaurant business, owns this private corporation. He paid $43 million to acquire it and was willing to put out much more money to resurrect and revitalize the company's name. All the company-owned restaurants quickly adopted the classic rock and roll concept that Michael Cannon created when he was in charge. The brand attracted notice and interest as a result of the numerous changes, restorations, and menu expansions that were made. But as time went on, by 2010, things had once more started to deteriorate. Being a private corporation during this time made it difficult to pinpoint precisely when things began to go awry. It's important to note that Fuddruckers consistently marketed itself as an elegant and expensive substitute for the well-liked but less expensive fast food eateries. That was the exact time Fuddruckers declared bankruptcy, which led to two further changes in ownership. After filing for bankruptcy, Tavistock's private equity company purchased its assets for $40 million. However, the most significant ownership change on the list wasn't this one, since about a month later, the same assets were sold again, this time for $61 million. It came out that Luby's, a well-known restaurant business, was the new owner. For its cafeteria-style food service, Luby's is recognized. And it's fascinating to note that Luby's, like Fuddruckers, was also started in San Antonio, and Texas continues to be one of their most important markets. Both eateries have slightly distinct consumer bases in the same state. Targeting mostly adults, Luby's offers more of a classic dining experience. Contrarily, Fuddruckers has long attracted families and kids to carve out a thriving niche. In 1990, they devised a brilliant idea, starting a promotion that allowed kids to enjoy free meals from Monday to Thursday after 4 p.m. During those specific hours, they faced challenges in attracting business But this promotion proved remarkably effective. To enhance the experience, they offered additional perks such as balloons and video games. While the details varied depending on the location, Fuddruckers gained a reputation as a fun-filled place for kids. This success inspired Luby's to explore a new concept: dual areas where Luby's and Fuddruckers would coexist. The idea was to appeal to both adults who would prefer Luby's and kids who would be drawn to Fuddruckers. Uniting these two companies was ambitious, representing a grand vision. However, this vision did not materialize as expected, much to the disappointment of many. Before acquiring Fuddruckers for $60 million and later Cheeseburger in Paradise for $11 million, Luby's was already grappling with declining sales and significant debt. By merging three struggling restaurant chains, they faced additional challenges in turning things around. Most Cheeseburger and Paradise locations were rapidly closed down or converted into Fuddruckers outlets. By 2018, there was a consistent decline in same-store sales across all branches, prompting them to shut down some locations as they went along. The expected efficiencies from the mergers did not materialize as anticipated. Additionally, it can be observed that cafeteria-style restaurants in general were facing a decline in popularity among customers. Furthermore, the multiple chains involved in the merger struggled due to long-standing financial and operational issues that persisted for years even before the pandemic. By the latter part of 2020, it was clear that significant changes were required to turn around the failing scenario. Fortunately, a buyer was located in 2021 who was eager to begin the task of renewing the business. Returning to the list, the latest owner is Black Titan Franchise Systems. They paid a whopping $18.5 million for the business, which gave them ownership of the other 92 Fuddruckers restaurants. This transaction is essential since Nicholas Perkins is the only African American with a 100% stake in a significant burger franchise. Perkins has stated his belief in the franchise's quality and possibilities for expansion, despite some speculating that his choice to purchase Fuddruckers may be considered at least partially personally driven. He has grand intentions to reposition the brand, stabilize it, and try to restart its growth. As we reflect on the journey of Fuddruckers, it's a reminder that in the business world, the only constant is change. We look forward to witnessing how this iconic burger haven will continue to evolve and shape the culinary landscape in the years to come. Thank you for joining us in this exploration, and don't forget to subscribe for more insightful stories and updates.